Good evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are, free enterprise fans, and welcome to tonight's race. I am Baka Shinobi, and I am joined by Knight 214. How are you doing this evening, Knight 2?
We are doing absolutely great tonight, and even more where I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this match between Eykir and Simeta here, and I'm looking at our objectives here, and I see a lot of black magery to be had here. One guaranteed Porum on the start. Let's find another one. Let's find a foo.
We do start with Palom. Porum is the other flavor of mage.
It's been a long day, apparently.
Not like you're the only one. You're not the only person who's gone and had that trouble. Porum has the shoulder pads. Palom's got the what looks like a necklace. But yeah, we start with the good twin. We have to find the other twin, and we also have to find Fusoya, who we know is in the seed, which is a good piece of information because we are in distinct 10, which means 2 characters are guaranteed to be excluded. So we don't know who's going to be around. You might find 2 Avengers and discover there's no Canes and Cecils.
I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. We've seen enough of those guys. Let them take a break.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see an army of Paloms and Fusoyas go and march to the seed, right?
Exactly.
Put Val at Cave Magnus going and guarding the Darkness Crystal.
I mean, you give somebody else all that magic defense. We'll just throw her somewhere like, the Ogopogo altar with something.
I'm glad to see we're both on the same page. But speaking of being on the same page, Eykir and Simeta are both at the same point of 1-1. 1 loss keeps you in, 2 losses keep you in, 3 losses is going to go and keep you from advancing. So neither are in the do or die, but really want to go and hang on as long as you can to avoid getting to that 2-loss threshold where you're just constantly under the sword of Damocles wondering, is this match going to go and stop your run at the brackets?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the whole thing where you want to put off, and this is rich coming from me sometimes, you want to put off that sword for as long as possible, especially with a 6-week grind going to it here.
Agreed. As only this will be the halfway point afterwards for the first round, for the Swiss round. Then we'll be into brackets after this, which will have all sorts of fun. So curious as to what joy our runners are going to be experienced today with this lovely Palom start.
We should be getting going fairly soon here. and I believe it looks like... Oh no, you're getting a free pass from Asuka because you haven't made any puns and you pulled out a Sword of Damocles reference.
I have to go and mix things up. I can't become too predictable.
I mean, I appreciate that.
But with this Palom start, Palom's great to have because he does go and get powerful very quickly, but doesn't start that powerful, only having the tier 1 spells. But let's see who we have to maybe help carry Palom along.
Well, we have a mage of a different sort in that Yang CPU and a tower key. Nothing immediately eye-opening there, but at least has some hit points to stand in front of that black mage right now.
Yeah, Yang is under very few conditions out. Do I think Yang is going to do better damage than Palom at the moment, because both are going to be able to mostly do elemental damage if you find claws for Yang, but Palom can bluff up, and even his tier 1 elemental spells will do noticeable damage against early enemies if you're hitting an elemental weakness.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I'll make a quick reference here before the match really gets started here. You'll definitely notice that if you there's a Seed of the Week with a Tricker flag, or Tricker name, that does illustrate that rather well. And we're off. One's headed straight to Baron, and we've got a Miss Cave check here.
Simeta going for some outside of the norm loot. Miss Cave is higher rated loot because we have the T Wildish flags, which means that locations have weighted treasures. The further they are something is from an objective, or the further they are into the game, the better treasure things are likely going to have. Miss Cave isn't really used for an objective outside of a boss check, so it has some unusually strong equipment here. But I don't see Simeta pulling anything too impressive.
No, not so much. Did see a Lilith Rod. Big Bomb's kind of nice. There's the J-Attack items you kind of want to see early, especially to get these characters running before Palom gets those tier 2s, which starts almost immediately here. But continuing with that, Eykir actually, nope, gonna forgo the Watery Pass, head straight to Damcian. And while it doesn't have the percentages, it does have a lot of individual checks here.
Yeah, density matters when you're going and hitting chests, and even if it's not going to be great, you still have a high roll. Yeah, you still have a chance for chest to high roll, so maybe you can find something helpful. Karate shirt is not a bad piece of equipment, does boost strength and is something that Yang can wear. Silver sword is not so great. Ninja sword would be nice if we had an edge, though won't be seeing him soon, I think.
Yeah, we did get an ID on the Baron character. I missed the boss, of course, but that is a Rosa, which is wonderful news for our runners here. Chilling out in the Baron Inn, so both of those probably want to pick up now. I did see Eykir pick up a headband to go along with that karate shirt, so that Yang's actually going to be fairly well equipped at the beginning of this run here.
Yeah, and Palom, as part of the random Sineki flag, where our characters start with no armor and a random weapon, did roll a dancing dagger, which is quite helpful. Ooh, and we see one of our objectives, objective 4 on Hobbs. Horum is just waiting to be picked up, provided you can DPS race this Odin.
And should be able to, going right to that big bomb, and I don't blame him, but even a lit 1 here from a base level Horum is going to do substantial damage with that massive lightning weakness, as we see 295 and that big bomb doing quite a bit. Probably is not going to last past another hit, if I had to guess here.
I think Odin is in for a very quick fight. It's going to be over in a flash.
So we have a sub 4 minute objective. Is that Horum is somebody we were required to find. Our free character checks are loaded with white mages apparently now.
Well, we don't have to worry about dying, assuming that the boss just kill us with DPS before we can heal. And Simeta is choosing to go and loot the rest of Mount Hobbs as well. These 4 chests are also rather well weighted because they are pretty far out of the way. Most people just skip out.
A lot of people either want Tella, oh, ninja shirt, that's very nice. But honestly, I like this check with a Tella or with a sword, or even like with a Hobbs flag if Rydia can backdoor you into there.
Yes, I agree. Just something to and put you a bit closer to it. Eykir is also finishing through that fight, though got a little bit closer with that sword race coming out, but the mini flare going and burning him down.
I do like the twin strategies coming out here. Early twin magic is wonderful, especially before those tier 2 spells come out. Eykir also going to loot the back of Hobbs. Gonna get paid a little bit in that ninja gear, and I believe there was a crystal gauntlets there. Decent money to be had, nothing immediately useful for our characters. I'm not even going to complain in a cabin at this point. I never find those things anyway.
Cabins are, with the advent of these starter kits and just how much you get with them, there's less and less shopping, so a cabin is a surprisingly helpful find. You're unlikely to be going and scouting all the shops, so you might not go and find the cabins you need for really having good, efficient moon clears. So that is a very nice pickup.
Yep, Simeta only looting the single chest out of Antline does actually get rewarded in a Poison Claw there, so does replace the Charm Claw that Yang started out with that nobody likes there, even with the Giant Killer on it, and there's Biken.
Eykir is going and looting more of this. Yes, that Charm Claw, 3 agility is nice. 30 less accuracy, however, is not so nice, and the Charm Claw is unfortunately the only claw without any accuracy bonus.
Yeah, it's something you don't want to leave on your Yang unless you're exploiting that Giant Killer it does have on it as well.
Eykir being very thorough, looting all of Antline Cave, getting that chest that he went to is one that I will frequently skip because the 2 transitions and just walking in there feels so bad when you go and get something that's not really good, and 100 gold is not very good.
Yeah, looks like a halfway decent cane weapon is going to leave that Charm Claw on with that Poison Claw. I mean, it's not going to harm you too much, especially with Yang in the center row right now, but It's something you want to leave. Oh, and there's a quick half of an objective there in a pink tail.
And if we go and have a hook route, being one of the two ways to get underground, that's we're not too unlikely to go and have two objectives complete before we even get to checking our underground path.
True, and honestly, here's the thing. With these characters we have here, that's an Earthhammer, that's nice for a Sid. But with these characters we have here, I mean, I know people want to, the Crystal Sword is the big reward here, but with not knowing you have a Cecil, I mean, do you want like a white shirt instead, or something like that?
White shirt would definitely be a very nice long game for Porum to stay alive, and short game for Porum to also stay alive. Level 18 is a very good and important level for Porum because that's when she goes and gains the access to the Berserk spell, which could be very important to getting through Hook Route. So a white shirt would probably be on the top of my list of things to desire. You can also switch it to that Rosa. An Artemis bow, however, would probably be more of what I want because that gives you plus 10 agility, plus 10 strength, minus your casting stats, but it's also the strongest bow you can get. That would go and help improve your early game damage as well.
I mean, no matter who wields it between Rydia, Porum, or Rosa, a Heroine Artemis bow combo is a absolute godsend. And you can go the whole game with that, honestly.
Oh yeah, that is a very solid Berserker setup for what would be normally a mage. And we do see Simeta has checked both the back of Watery Pass and the boss of Mistcave, finding D-Lunars in the waterfall and elements in Mistcave.
Two bosses, you're 50-50 to check off here. I don't mind seeing either one of them later due to Lunar Frog strats. Depends on the slot here. Simeta going straight for Baron Inn does find Mylon and friends here.
And Mylon friends not going to do too much. Going to go and avoid most bunches because it's going to get the drains. Only about 400 HP in this spot, so most of it's going to be on Mylon. A bit's going to be on the gas. Not going to take too much to finish them off.
Yeah, either a Fire 2 or a Twin would probably mop most of it up here.
Yeah, definitely agree there. Meanwhile, we do see Eykir is heading to Fabul, checking the shop there, seeing that there are Notice and Sylph for sale. Those are two things you are quite happy to see because Sylph is very nice if you have Iridia. Notice is, if you want an AoE J item, it's good to go and have those for some very early encounters. Like if this is, say, an alt gauntlet, it can actually help clean up pretty quickly.
Now, did you just... Nope, that's just Bahamut. I was like, did you just put the commentator's curse on him there? And apparently not. That's Bahamut, and... man, I just like a slightly better DPS setup for this because it does kind of feel like, okay, it is actually going to be casting the Fire 2, and then is going to use Porum's turn to engage the Twin Magic, so good turn economy coming there out of Eykir there.
Yeah, definitely like that. Getting Comet is a little annoying because you'd rather have that mini flare that does better damage to a single target. Comet, however, is unreflectable and better AoE damage. We do see Simeta is facing Dark Elf in the second spot.
That's not terrible, as you see that spell combo doesn't do nearly as much as if you've seen that slot physically hit, and I do believe it might down the line, but that spot hits hard, but the magic coming out of it, not so bad here.
No, but what is a little bad is the casters are out of mana. Go ahead. I was going to say, having gone and done Hobbs and the first fight, you've burned a lot of your MP just getting to this point. The advantage of finishing either Ordeals or Fabul Castle is that you do get at least one full heat restore there. Both these twins started at 50 MP, and while they've gained levels and have more at maximum MP, they haven't gotten any more. They haven't restored their MP at all.
Yep, and we did get the hook out of the Fabul defense, which does give us access to that pink tail, but however also does mean we're not completely down that river yet and having to take the hook route, but it's definitely on the table here.
Agreed. And Simeta is going and pushing as much as they can against this Dark Elf and having a little bit of trouble. Their characters are getting knocked down pretty quickly with these punches at this point, as Palom in the back row just was one shot for 500 damage.
Yeah, there is a power stick, which might speed this up a little bit. At this point, do you kind of gamble and maybe try to... never mind, there went Yang, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think unfortunately without NP, you are not going to be able to get through this fight.
Meanwhile, we do have our pink tail turn in, and oh, there's your Artibo.
Hey, I can't curse them, but apparently I can bless them with good weapons for their team.
And
That Artibo, I like.
Yeah, now I expect a few weapon shop checks just to see if we have some ammunition to go along with that Artibo.
Medusa arrows might look like ammunition, but they are the weakest arrows in the game. You don't want to really spend them doing damage. You want to spend them when you want to try and petrify something, though, because that's what they do as an unhit effect.
Yep, and they immediately got sold, too.
They're also expensive. Eykir is staring at those illusions longingly, wondering, all right, do I take some of those? And yes, Eykir takes a stack of 10 illusions. They cast the blink on the person who uses them. Very helpful.
Simeta going back in to... and I don't know if this was post an MP restore or not. I'm guessing so because everybody is topped off, and I don't remember them all being topped off before. Eykir did find a black belt out of somewhere as well, and I think it was the Fabul Castle loot.
That is definitely helpful, and we're getting confirmation from the restreamer that Simeta did use a 10. That will be very helpful. 10s are great early game restoration because they seem like they heal everything. They technically don't. They only heal 1000 MP and 100, or 1000 HP and 100 MP. But that is everything early game, so very nice to see. Probably why Eykir picked up an extra 10 of them.
Yeah, I mean, even late game, I mean, it kind of sucks when you have to... Now, Eykir, remember where you put that hovercraft. Because that is a really weird place to leave it.
Yeah, it looks like Eykir wanted to go to Mysidia, but didn't want to go all the way to Eblan Cave, so... Split the difference. Finding life potions and ether 2s, not an awful find.
Yep, and did actually see like a siren, an hourglass, and what else did I see? I swear I saw another J item in there. Fabul Castle had a lot of good stuff, honestly.
Simeta showing off some very nice heads-up play. Simeta bonked Yang with Porum, which seems like a terrible idea. Granted, Porum can't go and do damage for any good measure, but the power staff, when you hit people with it, can berserk them. That's a status effect it applies. Yang is now berserked before Simeta has access to the spell on their Porum, who is not yet level 18. That is going to be a significant help for Simeta, as berserk really nice.
And as Yang is so helpfully showing, unfortunately, did smite down that Yang there, but Palom with the stop here, showing off that Dark Elf trades its boss bit for that new form there. And with Palom dropping a stop on him, is going to get the chance to recover here.
Yep, Yang is definitely going to be able to help throw out some damage. I think this fight is in a much better position. There's only about 4,000 HP in this spot, so you're going to be able to go and chew through it without too much issue. Only out Twin to go and throw out some damage to the Twins. Dark Elf is probably only a few hundred HP. Ooh, but Stop has worn off.
Yeah, the stop spell cast by any of your black mages, I believe, what is it? An Hourglass 1 is 50 ticks, an Hourglass 2 is 100, and a 3 is 150. Whereas I believe the stop spell cast by any of your normal casters is, I believe, somewhere in the order of 10?
It's definitely markedly worse than the Hourglasses, that's for certain. Does the status element's priority apply to enemies as well? Yes. I believe you will go, if you try and use certain statuses, you'll go and fail with them, because if you've already applied some others, it's not very common because in general you're not applying that many statuses to enemies.
Yep, unfortunately we did have a twin magic fail. I don't know if that's... No, they had the MP for it, they just got the 1 in 256, or 1 in 16. I cannot remember the there, but
I believe it's 1 in 256 because this is very rare.
yeah. Anyway, Simeta does get through the fight this time, does pick up that Rosa, and something for the one child that we do not have here.
And meanwhile, Eykir has gotten through that Dark Elf as well, and one less try than it took Simeta, so Simeta is pretty much down a Fabul hit compared to Eykir. That stings a bit, but Simeta does have Rosa now.
And I would actually believe here that both Eykir and Simeta, Simeta without knowledge of the hook here. I would say with the pending hook route with this team here, you're probably going to see ordeals plays out of both of them.
I agree. I'm not in a rush to go and do the hook route. I might go and rush the hook route to get the character there, see if it's someone really helpful, such as that mandatory Fusoya.
Oh, absolutely. And it's one of those things, especially if you start out with that hook first, you'll see a lot of people just going straight to that check.
Yeah, and you can find some decent stuff in that cave. It is a trap chest location, so you do go and get better loot there compared to other locations. But Eykir is choosing to go up ordeals, which it looks like Simeta is probably getting towards as well. Ooh, Rosa starts with 20 mute arrows. That is something you're not sad to see in the slightest when you go and get an Artemis bow.
Oh yeah, that's I believe that's the second best power-wise arrow you can start with. I believe the charm arrows are a possibility as well and do have a slightly stronger power, but those mute arrows do a lot of work against a lot of rude bosses.
Yes, they are. Let's see, the strongest arrows are the Artemis, then we have the Samurai, then we have the Charm, and fourth most powerful is the Mute, and you're unlikely to, I believe Samurai are tier 5 and Artemis are tier 6 or 7, so you do believe you are correct that you are not going to go and be starting with much better than Mute arrows.
Yeah, Eykir did the long loot there for that chest, so something that a lot of people skip. Does get rewarded with Zeus gauntlets, and it looks like there's also a cursed ring on ordeals, so all kinds of good stuff here.
Yeah, and speaking of things you like to see, Dark Knight Cecil in the first slot in a party that's not exceptionally tanky, I can appreciate that.
I think this is the worst spot, bar maybe like a few like super early game, but the attack power in this spot is one of the lowest in the game. This is a wonderful place for Dark Knight Cecil to pop up.
I'm certainly not being impressed. Eykir is just sitting there looking at it and asking, really? I would say that you do more damage on my side of the field, but we both know that's not true. Poor Dark Knight Cecil, getting bullied on ordeals is just, well, at least in this spot, the only thing that hit to him. So both runners neck and neck again. Eykir and Simeta is going back to save. Eykir also going back to save, just getting them going and checking some things that looks like, not certain what, maybe Simeta is looking at agility and trying to go and pick a better anchor for potential rudeness.
That is semi-rude there in that pale dim, but
yeah, that is kind of rude. Eykir does not have Rosa in the center slot, which is very helpful when you're trying to use the aim skill. And yeah, he does not have a Thunderclaw, which is also very helpful when you are trying to deal with Paladin, because Paladin resists elemental damage.
Yep, and actually, with that power command, I know that that forum did just drop a Berserk onto that Yang there. So now the slow counters are going to come out, but aim and power are two commands that get around that whole mess of countering with slow on every physical attack.
Yep, that is... Paladin doesn't go and counter physical attacks, he only counters the fight command with slow. If you do anything but that, it's still physical damage, he doesn't really go and have a response for it. And we could have used Twin here as well, as our tracker Mechalink is pointing out, but Eykir is content just to Zerk up and aim, and Haldim crumbles before that opposition.
Yeah, given the DPS that Rosa and Yang are have right now, I think it might actually even be a slightly better play here. With only 3,000 hit points anyway, this spot, and we're seeing the Twin Magic come out here, actually, so...
Yeah, 620 damage isn't anything to scoff at. It's just, I mean, that's about a fifth of its life, so not bad. And I think we had a little interesting glitch come up where Porm got her turn twice in a row on Simeta's side.
One day I will, we'll know what causes that. I've seen it come up a few times, but can never really replicate it.
I know one of them is reviving a character. We'll get them, if you were in the right part of the ATB, you could go and revive them as their turn would be coming up, so it goes and counts as them having their turn, and then they would go and fill for their turn again. But I think this must be related to Twin. But speaking of rewards, Eykir is rewarded with a Baron Key for getting into this Crystal Chamber and the King Queen Evelyn fight. That's not the fight you want to see here.
No, not at all. You don't want something this free to be anywhere near down here. This is a waste of a free boss in a completely free spot.
Eykir not even going and letting the Queen just leave on her own, gives her the boot, takes out this very free fight and this very free spot, and now has a choice. Do you go and clear Baron before you go down the hook route, or do you go and just say, you know, I've done enough in the overworld, let's go and see what's waiting for me on the hook route?
I believe it was CPU that handed over the Baron Key?
CPU is definitely... With Rosa aiming with an artist bow?
No, not the Baron Key, but the opening item.
Yeah, so that's the first spot. Not going to be able to do much with Porm and Palom unless you want to risk getting reflected mini flares sent back and hoping for comets. Rosa could do decent damage with that aim and Artemis bow. Yang is going to go and be suffering from long range penalties because the main body of CPU is in the back row.
Yeah, with this part of me is thinking that maybe it's going to take a little bit more time, but maybe I want to see who is at Cave Evelyn, boss and character, before making that decision.
And looks like Eykir dropping them off and is going to Baron, so Eykir appears to disagree with that assessment, wants to go and check. Is checking the weapon shop at the very least, didn't go and save outside, so might not be doing a full check.
Yeah, these are gated shops because they are behind the Baron Key here. Charm Rods are your 10 wisdom there. Black Robes for your Palom. Not much going on in the armor shop there, but is turning over to hit that Baron Key. I don't disagree with it, especially that Eykir is running the Artemis bow Rosa, so we'll get through this. Now the question is, Simeta doesn't know about the hook.
Yeah, Simeta still needs to go and do Ordeal, so Simeta can be trying to go and do the never do Fabul unless you have to play. Not if there's a Magma King in Baron, then they're going to go and have a great time because they're not going to go and risk doing the hook route without skipping the Magma Key, but they are going to Fabul to go and clear that fight.
So Simeta will get the news of the hook, will get the news of the Artie bow, and that's why Simeta's not using it, because Simeta doesn't have the Artie bow yet.
Yeah.
Which makes a whole bunch of sense now.
Yeah, Simeta is definitely going to be going and be highly encouraged to get it, because while in Zima Zone 3, a lot of people wouldn't turn into Pinktail because it didn't give an adamant armor. Turns out, if you're making an objective, people will really be excited about turning the Pinktail again.
I mean, it still could have been a Crystal Sword.
And Simeta appears to be just willing to wait and use a Starveil to finish off this fight.
It is probably the faster play, I would say here.
Definitely. I'm not going to disagree because it is a very quick animation. I don't think Bahamut's going to survive the deflect. Yeah, there it goes. There goes most of the team not getting the experience, which hurts a bit. But Rosa got a lot of it, so that will help.
Alright, so Rosa doing about 500 a shot. I did not actually see the remedy come out. Looks like I am now here. So CPU's got 3,500 on the main unit there. So not terrible. Oh, that dancing dagger is actually going to come out and do a little bit of work too here.
Nice heads up play by Eykir going and using your items. It's going to do about as much damage as Rosa, so nothing to feel really bad about using that.
I'd say if I had a little bit less hit points, I see that grimoire sitting in that inventory and be like, do you want to roll the dice on that?
I mean, maybe after it gets back to Porum's next turn, you go and decide, yeah, sure, we'll go through that. Worst thing that happens is it's Odin and does nothing, but you're probably going to be able to go and get something good out of it.
Yeah, I actually say worst thing happens is you pop like Sylph, she takes out the attacker, and you're left scurrying to not deal with Globe 199s.
Fair. Then you are pretty far away from Porum's turn to go and Zerk Yang and just hope he punches things to death. But this CPU is not looking long for this, long for the world, as it's taken a good beating already. It's probably down to its last 500 HP if I had to guess.
Yeah, nope, there it goes. So CPU is down. Simeta is summoning the hovercraft, likely to turn to the pink tail. Don't know if he's going to go to Evelyn or not. Kind of interested to know here. Now, mind you, Baron is gated loot as well here, and this early in the seed, I actually do like a play of just seeing what up in a few of these chests. And but however, I don't think Eykir's had to shop much because that was the inventory boss that just popped up as well.
Yeah, Eykir is struggling under the weight of their ever so fervently acquired loot, as they have a lot of things and need to say goodbye to a bit of it to save on time.
Go ahead. Yep, it's pulling the trash can, and that's actually one of the big quality of life things that came in, where you don't have to keep going to the trash can for everyone. You just click on it twice, and then just start dumping things.
Yep. Ooh, when Eykir finds D-Mist on the throne, 2-for-1 key item value here.
Baron was already a great check, and now it's just an insane check, because now we're getting 3 key item checked. Well, 2 plus the Odin spot, which they may not be equipped for yet, but
I always like going and scouting that Odin spot because there's a number of fights you can go and squeak through, though we have seen some of them already in the form of that Bahamut. But to answer a question that was asked in chat, when objective is get, they have to keep them? In the form of, you have to go and turn in the pink tail and keep the, you don't have to keep the item, but you have to at least receive it. You can't go turn the pink tail and then reset back to somewhere else more convenient. You do have to go through that whole sequence wherever they are. But for characters, you just have to go and have them get to the, do you want this character to join your party screen? Beyond that, you can send them away, not take them, do whatever you like. You do not have to take any character, just simply recruit them.
Yep. Now I know the joke here is to assert dominance on the seed by selling the crystal swords. But is it time to start asserting dominance on the seed by binning a Fusoya?
Only if you are, only if you have a party of 4 ground mages and an anchor that you can't go and slap a curse string on. But there goes D-Mist. Eykir will have that key item check after they get through the rather lengthy Baron cutscene, as they are going to see the character here and get that key item.
Oh my, and speaking of Fusoya, the man of the hour here is right there.
If this is the Twin Heart, we're going to be able to get our crystal before we get underground.
Yeah, and at that point, runners... Are we in panic mode at that time? It's like, oh, where's my grind? Where's my moon access? Where's my everything?
if you don't have moon access, I think you're I think you still have to stay cool. It's like, okay, I have to get through this hook route. I've got a Fasoya. You know, I need to go get some more bosses. If you go and get Twin Harp into Darkness Crystal, or worse, Twin Harp into Pass, you are in panic mode because you have technically access to Zeromus.
Nah, just some old sword.
Just an old sword. We do still have a second check in the form of that D-Mist. We could still go and get a Twin Harp.
You never thought you'd be sad to see an Avenger, but here it is.
That's a sad day for a sword that you have no one to swing. Just a.
Well, I mean, I don't hate sirens. I love sirens, but right there, not so much.
That's that is not the siren song of a Twin Harp. But at least you don't have to worry about the you are now instantly in go mode. Does Eykir go and peek the Baron Throne to see if it's something free-ish?
It looks like that is indeed what is going on, and honestly, just having the information here. I mean, Fu's at 1,500 hit points, no nuke, does have tier 3 magics, does have the Meteo, does
and
have
Quake.
No
and White.
Or it does have White, yep.
Throw that out.
Yeah, Fu does make a lot more bosses here doable.
And meanwhile, Simeta is going and chewing their way through that CPU. Looks to be bluffing up on Palom, throwing a berserk on Horum.
Who might have that arty bow, and she immediately shoots the attacker dead.
Well, we'll see how well Horum does. Well, the best character got globed at 199, so maybe we'll go and get this CPU down before the next. Yep, and we do. Palom loses some experience, but Simeta is through that fight.
Yeah, there are actually I do like a good let's Zerk up and just power overwhelming the CPU down before anything happens.
Yeah, it definitely sped up Yang, who did twice as much damage because of that lovely long range. And Eykir is going and checking the treasure chest here, finding glass hat's kind of nice. Ninja shirt is more money.
I am definitely much higher on. Oh, that's a white spear as well. Yeah, I'm definitely higher on glass hat territory. It's especially if you have Cecil, who could be considered one of the best characters here. I mean, a glass hat, high tier, other pieces of armor, and you can just stick them in the back row. And against anything that punches, you're basically invincible.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the glass hat just for I need to keep this character alive for a physical boss. Like, I need to keep my Porum alive for this antlion here because I need to go and get some blinks up.
Yep, and we aren't going to see that Odin boss. Is doing a little bit of extra looting. I like it, yet I don't like it, because if you get to something here you can't take, you're going to lose a lot of time and all that stuff.
I agree wholeheartedly. That is something where I like running in to check the boss, and if I really want the loot, I'll come back in and loot everything.
Oh no, that's a Lunar Sparkle, and
it is the freest of the Lunar Sparkles.
It is. Rosa does not get that Star Veil up in time, unfortunately.
And I don't know if you'd really be able to go and finish that off with Reflect. And with that Star Veil on Rosa, you can't go in Berserker to shoot Plague, which this is the time where I would be wanting to go and Berserk my Rosa to have her endlessly shoot Plague for that 4x air damage.
Yep, and it looks like, now mind you, he is going to... when he does cast that count later here that Rose's Reflect is going to reflect, because there's the virus coming out on Forum, and I would assume a life potion by the next person up, which I believe is Rosa again. Foo's White did about 5,000 damage, and if I recall, this spot has something on the order of around 17 to 18,000, if I recall. I might be a little low on that.
To 18,000 does sound correct to me. But the characters are going down. Forum's back up, so bright side, every time you revive someone, you're going to go and get a fresh count.
Did buy life potions, even though it is Porum upright. I would actually probably res the Fu here just so he can start doing Fusaya things with high tier magic.
Yeah, not turning another Star Veil, but not going and getting that Reflect off is a little unfortunate. One of the advantages of having a uncounted character with the Star Veil is that Plague wants to do one thing when you don't have count, and that's cast count. If you reflect it, he's never going to be able to go and cast count on you, so he's just going to keep trying that over and over and over again.
And Rose is actually going to drop to the count again no matter what, because even though Plague does now have the count on himself here, Rose's count is not going to be refreshed. Here comes the second white. Eykir is going to get through this fight here.
But is Bleeding Time, where Simeta is going and catching up, is in that Demist fight, going to go and be discovering that, yes, there is a Fusoya here, so that will complete objective number 5. You're one objective away from go mode now. And then discover that these two key items are neither of those items. They're objectives.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of possibly doing differently here is going to those free spots where we have the D-Lunars and elements in the waterfall and mist cave there, and you've got a 66% chance, roughly, not throwing spell weight into there, of possibly getting that nuke spell here. Up there's white. That's 7,000. Does roll on the high end there. Does finish it up. Lots of XP. That's a good thing.
Does not get out on Palom, which hurts a little bit because Palom is going to be a second source of damage, but 1600 HP is when Fusoya learns nuke. Just getting a spoon, so not great value, though the experience is nice.
Yeah, with all the looting and all that, yeah, I don't see Eykir not walking it out, but definitely not what Eykir wanted to see after a fight that goes that long there. In terms of actual progression, that did allow Simeta to completely catch up here.
Yep, they're both going to be leaving Baron Castle about the same time, only Simeta will need to go and check the... We'll need to go and check that Demist while Eykir is continuing to loot and is finding some nice things. Found a life staff, found a silk web. These are things that are nice to find, but starts going and becoming diminishing values when you keep finding the inventory boss.
Yeah, and more diminishing value when, honestly, there's a few good things. I mean, yeah, we'd love some sorcerer robes. We'd love maybe a Stardust Rod. But, I mean, when you're hunting for a slightly win more item here, sometimes it's time to put the loot button down and just start going.
Yeah, if there's a party that minimally cares about loot, it is this party. We have 4 mages who their relationship with loot is, are you a stat stick? No. Do you keep me alive slightly longer? Yes, then I kind of care about you, but I can probably get away with not having any of that. And the punch mage, who is, are you levels? No. Then you marginally affect my damage, so I'm not terribly interested.
Yeah, pretty much. Especially because I believe both of those Yongs are rocking, at the very least, a Black Belt key. One of them did find the Zeus gauntlets on Mount Ordeals. Sure, cat claws are nice, but at this point, you've got about all you'd really want for Yong as well.
Yeah, maybe you go out of your way in shops looking for elemental claws, because those can be very big. Quadruple damage is quadruple damage. You don't go and want to say no to that.
I mean, Asuka, we have found a Bahamut Orb.
And Eykir seems to have a little bit of trouble getting up inputs for that shop, while Simeta is going into Castle Eblin to pick up some loot here. This is higher loot, and there are trap chests, which you can go and take some fights here and get some more levels.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Eykir's having just a little bit of problems with controller inputs coming in here. The question is, what are both of them looking for? Those are nice arty arrows, don't get me wrong.
I agree. Simeta might be looking for more experience. Maybe he wants to try and get Quake on Paladin before going into that hook route.
Yeah, Castle Eblin was a popular play way back when there.
Mm-hmm.
To get a Quack Kid online early, especially when you're hunting for some of that other loot there. Has fallen off, but I mean, again, Castle Eblin does have those additional chances of better loot, if I recall.
Yes, Castle Eblin has a chance for better loot, and we are on max tier 6 for open chests. Trap chest, however, can still give you tier 7 loot, which maybe we're hoping for. Also, I believe you said the best thing you can get young is a cat claw, and Eykir has managed to find one and purchase one. So, yeah, Young's nice and well kitted out. It's got plus 10 strength and plus 10 agility. Gonna move pretty quickly.
I mean, that is the best. I mean, I've had definitely so many instances where I played Free Enterprise, and it's like, well, I need to buy this thing, and almost immediately after buying whatever piece of gear I was looking for, immediately it is in the next 5 chests I open.
Mm-hmm. All right, I need this Ogre Axe. Gets the Ogre Axe immediately. I need this Cat Claw. Gets a Cat Claw immediately. I need to not buy things. Gets nothing immediately.
Yep. Of course, these chests are making us out. That's a second adventure, by the way, in Castle Eblin there. So, hoping for those Cecils and Canes here that we have not seen. Eykir does find the Staleman chest, and honestly, I mean, the chest to prove me wrong here, because that was a second Zeus Gauntlet. Though, to be fair, other than Yang, nobody else is really using that second Zeus Gauntlet right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's the second Zeus Gauntlet, which is great for the one person in the party who can already wear one.
I mean, I suppose we are running up on a character check here, but...
Yes, we might go and get someone who can use it. We might go and get a Cecil who can go and equip that Avenger and some heavy armor. Artemis Bow is probably the nicer thing to find here, because that means you can turn Porum into a second source of damage. Crystal Ring is a nice find here, because that is very good defense and plus 5 agility. Nice to have that.
And a paralysis immunity, because why not?
Very true. I see a certain someone in chat is desperately cheering for a certain bard to show up and make everyone cry. Well, maybe not Eykir. Eykir would be very happy with that spoon.
Yeah, and to be fair, I am definitely part of team Leave Eddie on the bench. Because even though he has that spoon, he is made of, like, entirely soaked tissue paper and can't take a hit.
See, I was going to go and call him stressed glass, but soaked tissue paper is also quite appropriate. He does wilt quite often.
Indeed.
Well,
well, that's a mom bomb, it's just rude, but here's your decision now. You have Bahamut Asura Orbs. You have all the good stuff for that Rydia. Do you take her?
I mean, my choice is easy. Buy Porum. I don't need Twin anymore. I have the better white mage. I have both the better white mages in the form of Fasoya and Rosa and a Yang who can throw Cure 3 potion. Eykir not taking Rydia.
Eykir says, no dragons for me. I don't care.
If Eykir doesn't have the Bahamut Orb, that
yeah, if the Bahamut Orb is gone, then yeah, that's an easy choice, actually.
Yeah, you would also have to take one fight, but there is a trap chest here, and Eykir seems to be on their way to find it.
And has found it. So chat, you remember what we were talking with at the beginning of this seed here, and a certain piece of equipment that Yong starts out with? Because you know what's good against Mad Ogres? The one thing you would use it on right now? A Charm Claw.
It is 4 times effective. Also, mute arrows are 4 times effective on the Rosa with an Artemis bow.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to point out an edge case.
But he's not in the party.
But he left his case here.
I mean, he had to give up all of his gear. He had to put it somewhere.
Where do they put all that stuff anyway?
I believe we established in the case.
Good point.
But Simeta has finished clearing out Castle Evelyn, found some nice things there.
Apparently found a second Bahamut orb while we weren't looking there.
Apparently Castle Evelyn was the castle of second copies of tier 7 items you already have. What does Eykir get from this trap chest? And will Simeta be inclined to go through it as well? That's a nice find for this party.
That is a very nice find for that party, actually. That is, man, there's like, oh, I didn't even see the coffins there. Also Simeta picking up a pair of elixirs there, big spender.
Simeta definitely has the money. All right, Simeta is going in, being very careful in selling that 1 Bahamut Orb and 1 Avenger.
1 Bahamut Orb I agree with, but I mean, if you went through the trouble to get 2 Avengers...
Let's be fair, how many... There are 2 people in the game who can use them. We have seen 6 character checks so far. We're at 3 objectives. You might not see another character outside of the moon. It's not...
Meanwhile, Simeta picks up 2 cat claws out of the shop, and will likely find the 3rd in the box.
Our runners are, No, Simeta is not looting here. Simeta is deciding, I don't want to go and take any more trap chests, so... Technically not punished for walking past that cat claw.
Which is the best kind of not punished.
Exactly, because you'll never be taunted by the fact that I just spent 30,000 gold. That's kind of hard to come by for this.
Yep. Did keep that Bahamut orb, so is going to run into this same check, because I actually completely agree with you. With this party, I am saying, bye Porum, I'm taking my summoner.
Yeah, and take that Viridian Dude Dwarf Castle, you have a second person who can go and use that Zeus Gauntlet. And I believe we found a second Artemis bow.
Yeah.
But we found our first noodle with Leviathan at that King Queen Evelyn spot.
That's actually a wonderful place to find Leviathan here. The magic power on this is not great, and this spot is punchy, and Leviathan does not punch.
That is something you can appreciate. Probably more than microwaved eel, but I'm not the one idiot. And there goes Porum.
Almost dismissed the wrong twin there.
It is, as we discussed, it's not unreasonable to go and mix up which twin is which, just by visuals. And Mom Bomb is about to go and get similar treatment to Leviathan as Fusoya opens up the microwave.
What do you think that Fusoya's favorite microwaved meal is?
Ooh. I have no idea. What are your thoughts?
I mean, he uses the microwave so much that I've got to think of something here. Is Simeta proving me right here? Is loading up here with Mute Arrows, Artie Bow, and the Charm Claw is definitely hunting Mad Ogres.
Simeta is ready to go and show the ogres who's boss.
Simeta, you've won the seed twice over in my heart already.
Be careful, Simeta. You might win too hard. And Rydia is going to struggle to survive this fight with those Mad Ogres not stop, as Rydia has some form of defense, as she took only 24 damage from the Ogre in the back row. Unfortunately, that was most of her HP.
Might use the Hourglass in Castle Evelyn now that I think about it.
And hasn't looted nearly as much as Eykir has, so probably Eykir found 2, while Simeta only found 1.
Ooh, 3,300 damage Power Punch.
And we see Eykir is in the exploding phase of Mom Bomb, as seeing those bombs. Quake Kid almost went and took a bit of a dive as he got punched for most of his HP as well, but got the Quake off, and Eykir is going to be the first runner underground at 52 minutes, 30 seconds.
Yeah, and with Baron completions, the Odin spot down, it seems a little slow, but I don't completely hate it here. 3 objectives. Are you looking over your shoulder at this point?
Yeah, Eykir, you're in a race. You always feel behind when you're in a race, but Eykir might feel a little burned by that rather long Odin fight at Plague, but is still ahead, so we'll see where they go. And they are finding more mute arrows. That's a thing to find, as Simeta is going to finish up this chest and get their second Artemis bow.
Did not give us, unfortunately. Now, to be fair, they're not looking for bosses here, but I still would like to know who's on the top of the tower there, because they do have a tower key, and a completely good play here is to possibly, if you see something easily killable there, to just jump right over there and just knock out both of those key item checks, because, you know, we're only really looking for Twin Harp, Legend, and the Rock right now, so...
Yeah, and a Witch's Romus. And I was mistaken. Simeta got a Stardust Rod. I believe the second Artemis bow was from the Staleman chest.
Yes, so Simeta does not have the second Artie bow.
But Stardust Rod with a Rydia that can go and cast Bahamut at this point. I'm not too upset about that.
All you need.
And Eykir is needing to go and check their freebies, as they don't want to go and leave that out. They want to go and check this freebie along with all these chests that are down here in the Fey March. Sorcerer Robe is nice. The inventory boss, however, continues to be a problem.
Yeah, it's, I mean, we keep getting a little bit kind of hoist here, because they keep finding exactly what they want in these boxes here.
That is the trouble with T Wildish. There's so many good things to find. You only have about, 48 spots in your inventory or something? You do not have a lot of inventory space for all the things you can find. And these generous loot flags to say, one more box. It's just one more box. That's Excalibur. That's, if you find a Cecil, you probably take them, because it's going to be faster to take a fresh Cecil and level him up to 45 than it is to take your team to nuke, I think.
Agreed.
And with Zeus, Gauntlet, Excalibur, Avenger, you literally only need that Cecil up high enough to live through Big Bangs, maybe, and your Fusoya to throw Cure 4s. You don't need much else against Romus.
Yeah, exactly there, and... yeah, I mean, I am definitely a proponent of, if you're not taking that tower key back into the tower immediately, the other place I would go immediately at this point is Dwarf Castle, just to look there, because this team is a heavy Reflect. Very, very heavy Reflect. But
I would probably go in, if I'm not going to that tower, I would run the Sheila 1 check, which I don't like, because you really want to have the pan for that check, because you're running down to the bottom of Sylph Cave and you have the pan. That's where you use the pan as well, in addition to getting the Sheila 1 check. So it's really nice to go and have that there, but you could also just be one key item away from go mode. It could be Twin Harp into your Zeromus access, so...
Yeah,
leaving a
that's...
free check open I could not want to do. That is either Ogopogo or Wyvern, if I'm not mistaken.
Go peek it. We want to know.
Is it suffering, pure suffering?
Like, who's gonna want most of that MP for this fight if it's either one of them? But honestly, to be fair, if it's either one of them, I don't like either of them here.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's a mega nuke to the face, is what that is.
that's pure suffering. Granted, Feywish can be really mean for both of those bosses. Ogopogo in the Leviathan spot is going to knock down half your HP with big waves, and then knock out all of your HP with a punch, and wonder why did he even bother casting big wave twice.
Not to mention Asura being the fastest spot on the blue planet there, so Ogopogo is going to do that very quickly as well.
Yeah, and Eykir is setting up to try and take out that Wyvern, putting a curse ring on the center slot for him, so we're going to try and go and get some Star Veils off. Eykir, do you still have Star Veils? Last I checked, you used 2 of them on Plague. I don't know if you managed to buy more. Maybe they're in the shop here.
So we have the curse ring, we have moved to Wyvern Standard Time, and Eykir says, well, something is missing. And it's not the big key.
We take those Star Veils for granted so much. But only starting with 3 of them, it's really easy to just burn through them. And, well, we start with a lot of stuff. You don't need to do too much shopping, right? This is a time where you feel a little bad about not doing your shopping.
I mean, why? I mean, Bahamut's out of the pool. You use it on play. The only real, I mean, you still want him for Golbez and Ursura, and oh well, Tamra bailing him out here as look at all those Star Whales on sale.
Star Veils are guaranteed to be in an overworld shop, so you will likely want to go overworld to shop around for those, but they can still show up in any other shop as well. They just need to at least be in an overworld shop thanks to shop safety checks.
Yep,
it is pretty amusing to go and find them down here.
Yep, meanwhile, Simeta was that clinical sociologist, I believe, was the job dwarf today?
That sounds close to it. But Simeta is going and doing some good work to these bombs. Didn't take them out with the Stardust, but is doing damage to them.
Yeah, even if you don't kill them immediately, any damage done here, especially with Quake Could going down, I mean, Fu just really wants to get to that Quake here. Yeah, there we go. As soon as possible here.
Yeah, just keep this team up. Go and... if you stall too long, you're going to go and get some explosions, and you're probably not going to have the HP to survive it. Quake comes out, the bombs go down, and Simeta is through at the 1 hour mark.
1 hour flat, almost.
Definitely a bit behind Ike here, but can still go and make up time. We know that the free march chest is not going to go and be the progression we need. It is Excalibur, which if we can get a Cecil would be nice. But Eykir appears decided that they are no longer interested in looting and is going to just be rushing up this tower to see who is up there and are they going to give them something they need.
And Simeta is not giving us a peek at the top of the tower boss either, so we have no idea who's up here.
We're going in and as blind as the runners today. And, well, that's Leg, so this is going to go and be a quick fight.
I mean, Ruby is one of those kind of stealthy bosses you really don't want to see in a few certain late positions, just because of the hard punching, the glare is almost guaranteed to one shot, and other fun things.
He's definitely a rude boss. He's also probably one of the more controllable bosses, because if you don't hit him with the fight command, he's not going to do anything but single target, so you can probably sneak out some kind of win if you are careful, but it is not fast to do that.
Simeta is going into the pocket for the Sirens there, which actually I really love this play here. Just jumping down, getting that quick 34,000 right now.
Gotta go and get that Ridian some more experience. She's not going to get any slingshot experience. We have node boost turned on, but Ridian gaining 7 levels, going to appreciate that. Well, that... I would say we don't have a punchy team, so the counters don't matter much, but this has a low magic power anyway, so the counters didn't matter much anyways.
Yeah, I was about to say, speaking of bosses with low amounts of with counters there that we're going to avoid, and yeah, that's top of the list there is Antlion.
Well, on the bright side, we're going to go and see what Fu does to literally everything and continue to microwave while Simeta gets trolled by NPCs.
Lucas still asking if you've seen her dolls while standing in front of the stairs, making sure you have found them before you get to go see King Gyat.
She doesn't believe you look. She's just going to go and wall you out until you do.
Are you going to argue with royalty?
I mean, I will argue I'm a royal pain, but not much else.
Speaking of royalty, here's Queen Asurit as well.
Asurit was ousted from the Fame Arch and is now deciding to find a different castle to royal. And Simeta is probably going to want to use one of those elixirs for these next couple fights because Fusoya does not have any MP, and very easy thing to do after completing the hook route is to forget that you have burned a lot of resources going through that hook route.
And I missed the key item on top of the tower.
I did as well. We'll see if our tracker Mechalink was able to go and see that. And while we're speaking of our port, let's go and give a shout out to Divari for being a restreamer, and Mechalink for being our tracker, and thank you to Night2 for joining me on commentary. And we're getting confirmation that it was a Zeus gauntlet on top of the tower, lower Babel. So
throw it in the pile.
What's better than having one Zeus gauntlet for your one character who can have melee? You can only equip those Zeus gauntlets. Another 2 pairs.
Clearly, we need to be able to equip Zeus gauntlets over Zeus gauntlets for, you know, double or triple Zeus gauntlet action at this point.
I mean, you should just stack on enough Zeus gauntlets to become the Hulk, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
But here we're going to see what Eykir gets from this tower key. Is this going to be some form of progression, or are we going to need to go to Dwarf Castle, Fey March, or Sheila?
Well,
we thought the Excalibur was nice. The starting tower key is just really rubbing it in. Wouldn't you like a Cecil?
Meanwhile, Cecil is somewhere on the Troyan outskirts on some beach, sipping a pina colada, saying, I wonder how those people are doing without me.
All in his Dark Knight armor, of course, because... Oh, wait, no, we did do Ordeal, so he did just shift from a very nice dark shade of blue to a very nice open... Oh, goodness. Alright, we have Val. Or we have Rosa with aim. Val can't go and dodge aim.
Oh yeah, Rosa's got this.
I don't know if this is a spot that gets magic evade either. We'll find out as...
Yeah, we're definitely about to find out here as here comes Nuke.
Yep. Nuke lands. Nuke? Yeah, this spot doesn't get magic evade. Valvalis is not threatening in this spot. Very nice to see. While Eykir is now the one behind on the checks, having completed that full tower, so Simeta, if they choose to go there, is going to be rewarded with the Cecil starter kit for the Cecil you do not have.
So, how fast do you dive? Well, I mean, if it's darkness, I am speeding up to the moon immediately right now.
That. Who was the Leviathan spot boss again?
Somebody we really didn't want to mess with, I believe. And I cannot remember.
Ooh, but we get the pan, so we are running our way down that Sylph Cave to turn that in, because that's 3 checks. We can get everything we need off this. We can get everything we need and an extra item. We can get everything.
Thank you, Chad. It was the Mega Sisters. Those are sirens in Dwarf Castle, by the way. And yeah, that was Mega Sisters in the Leviathan spots.
I guess the punchy one is rude. The casting one's not so much. We do have mute arrows and an Artemis bow, so they can be manageable, but might not be very fast.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, we have all that, but I mean, we also do have 2 sources of Quake, a source of Meteo, a source of Bahamut for Simeta. Yeah, that's a lot of AoE damage I wouldn't mind taking there.
Yeah, and Simeta is on a fire sale, just tearing through the inventory saying, yes, give me more money, give me more money, give me more money, and then buying another stack of sirens, so they seem to be thinking they might eventually want to just crack some eggs.
I'd say I think that was 30 total sirens bought there.
Considering it takes about that many to go and get Rydia from level 1 to nuke, it's not a bad number to have.
True, but I'd really love to see how many key items we get out of that pan first, at least.
I agree. That pan is going to be big value. And Eykir discovering that, yes, Vivalis is still quite nukeable in this spot. Can go and just chuck everything in the Fasoya brand microwave and see what you get out. And is going to be rewarded with a pan just a bit behind Simeta now. So if this pan gives us what we need, it's going to be a race between whoever can grind theirself. The pan needs to go and give one objective completely and a way to Zeromus, but that's not too hard to go and do if you get a Twin Harp, and that takes you straight to Zeromus. But Simeta is toying with me, lands in front of tower, decides to wait, no, we don't want to do that yet. Is instead going to go and do some grinding, it looks like.
I mean, grinding is probably the second best thing here. I mean, tower's only a terrible play right now because we know what's in it.
Yes. It is also one less key item checking that pan, which I am very fond of going and getting the knowledge of what do I need to do. And that pan can answer a lot of questions of, do I need to go and do either Fey March or the tower? If you turn in that pan, you get a Twin Harp. You want to do that automatically, because that could either be gaining part of Forge, or it could be gaining your way to Zeromus and give you the crystal. If it's giving you nothing, your opponent's unlikely to go and have skipped that, but it's pretty unlikely you're going to get 0 out of this pan. And Eykir is charging down to find out what it gives.
I mean, hear me out. It's a long shot here, but if it comes up with, let's say both pieces of Forge and a Darkness Crystal, let's just say Eykir gets the crystal from the Forge and has 10 key items.
That would be a big change. Eykir's up inputs must be on the fritz, because Eykir has unfortunately had a number of times where he's walked to the side. That is a good point. That spoon could come in very big for Eykir, just because 10 key items versus 9 key items. 10 key item turns on double experience. Oh, we get the adamant from the Sylphs.
The dream is still alive!
They do? Are you... I guess they called the Artemis bow, but...
I mean, at this point, you had a little bit better odds for the Artemis bow. You're going for a 1 out of 8. I'm going for the trifecta here.
That you are. We've got one part. Now we need to go and get a Darkness Crystal and a Legend Sword. So I'm going to count it still if we go and get Darkness and Twin Harp.
Can I do a little parlay into a Rat Tail, maybe?
Rat Tail I'll go and give you as well. I'll take Twin Harp. You go and take Forge.
All right.
And Simeta is now going and discovering that, yeah, this dwarf castle led to your adamant. It's potentially very required.
It's soft required now, but we're about to find out the truth here.
And the Sheila 1 could make Eykir a bit nervous. It's the Legend Sword, so no, you're not nervous of Sheila 1. Holy! Night 2? Do we need to be worried about certain clerical clergymen coming and finding you?
I'm going to be right back. I need to go visit the nearest convenience store and pick up all the lottery tickets I can carry.
Eykir is now in go mode, and Simeta is taking a detour on their way to Sheila to turn in that pan that gave the Darkness Crystal and the Legend Sword. So Simeta is unfortunately really losing out on time here because we know that this is go mode.
Yeah, I was just coming up with the best possible thing that would go with that spoon for 10 key items. I mean, Sheila has the goods?
Sheila has the goods. Sheila really has the goods. The Silpscoin are like really getting on that too. It's like, we want to be part of this meme. What do we have to do to be part of this meme? Have a rock? We can have rocks. And Eykir is...
We heard you like snooze gauntlets.
Would you like more melee fighter equipment for your team of a melee fighter who can't even equip anything?
I mean, those crystal rings are nice, but So Tavon, when you went and got Pie, I made the call of between Sylphs and Sheila 1 and 2 having both pieces of Forge and the Darkness Crystal, and then it happened.
Yeah, Eykir is now at 10 key items, exactly, which is the perfect position for Eykir to be in because that's double experience. Even if Simeta goes and does this tower, they're not getting any key items from here, as the last key item we've seen is on the Baron Throne at in the Hands of Plague, and they've already started the pan turn-in, so they're going to be able to go and get their Legend in Darkness and be in go mode as well, only without 10 key items. And Eykir is currently there faster.
Yeah, Eykir is definitely in the catbird seat here. Gonna go up to the moon. Did sell off edge stuff, but does still have that crystal sword in inventory. Is Eykir hoping for an 11th hour Cecil here?
11th hour Cecil does go burr with a crystal sword. That would that is faster than grinding to nuke. When you have an Avenger and a crystal sword, you don't need much else for a Cecil. Everything else is gravy.
I mean, is this is like an Emperor's New Clothes situation? It doesn't matter what I'm wearing or not wearing in this case. I have a crystal sword.
The crystal sword is blinding and distracting, so I would go and give it. I wouldn't be paying attention to anything else. Crystal sword Cecil if he's swinging that crystal sword at me.
Scala, thank you.
Alright, he's sold Avengers. If you have a crystal sword, you cast Berserk on Cecil. You have a lot of options of casting Berserk on Cecil.
Yeah, I don't know if they found Bacchus wine, but with 3 white mages, do you really need another way to do so?
What's amusing is that technically this party was offered every single Berserk caster in the game. We have Vasuya, we have Porum, we have Rosa, we had the option of taking Tella at Dwarf Castle.
And here's a silk web for the Z fight.
Oh my goodness. This seed, you clear the overworld, get 3 objectives done, clear the hook route, do Dwarf Castle, and then get go mode, get double parts of Forge and Darkness Crystal off of turning it in.
It's an hour 16, and with all this information, and with this party, I am maybe running around like my hair is on fire right now because panic. This is far jettier than I like if I'm a player. I love to see it as a commentator because now I get to see how people deal with it.
That's I mean, look, Hour 16's fine to go and have go mode. Ooh, Sid, do you take him and do circus strats, or do you go and say, no, I want to just blow everything up with nuke?
I think I want to shove Zeromus in a microwave right now.
Eykir agrees. Eykir is just saying, no, we do not take engineers. We have already engineered our own victory, and it's the form of this microwave team.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think I have an idea for our next free enterprise marketing campaign. What do you want to call the Fusoya brand microwaves here?
The Moonlighter 1900.
I like it.
Part of that I stole from Mac and Link, who is recommending the Fusoya 1900. So it's a fun thing. These Jetsi getting into quick go mode is always gratifying. Oh, Simeta, you. I know. You need to turn in your pan to see that you are in very deep trouble.
Yeah, that pan. I mean, just even without knowing that it is 777s on the slot machine here, is a thing you just need to turn in.
Yeah, that information can go and drive a lot of decisions. The X scale will be nice if you decide you need more money, and Eykir is choosing to go and grind gold dragons. I don't know how many hourglasses they have, though.
I mean, to be fair, at 180,000 a pop, not a bad decision if you have those, but nobody's going for those hourglasses, which is a little worrisome, honestly.
Yes, this is one of those fights that I don't like doing without hourglasses. If I'm going to do a moon grind without hourglasses, I'm going to go up a few floors and do the warlock grind.
Absolutely there, especially because you have 3 mute casters on this team, so even if you don't have the mute bells, you can just white magic it onto them.
I very much so agree, and you have access to coffins, which a great way to go and get a good shot of experience is go and set your battle speed to 3, throw out your first mute, have your second character queue up a coffin, and you've probably gotten yourself to the point where the mute goes off, but your coffin is a little delayed. Actually, if you wait until the mute starts casting and then set your coffin to be thrown, that's great timing because you'll have muted the warlocks, but you'll be after them as they start trying to cast all those spells. Failing, giving you more time to queue people up to throw life potions on the one you have set coffin.
Also, entirely true.
I may or may have done that grind a few times, as I may have gotten a few jet seeds where I needed to just go in the last tournament.
I mean, maybe I just remember the old when Crystal was in the pool grinds, where it'd be like, well, we have this, we have a Rosa and an Edge, you have a Crystal and a Darkness Crystal, have fun.
Yeah. Eykir is getting through that first fight, moving up weak on Fusoya, and moving Kira 4 up on Rosa, and Simeta is gearing up to take on Wyvern, it seems, which unfortunately for Simeta, the best thing this could be is Twin Harp.
I'm not even sure, honestly. There didn't even heal up there, had a dead party member. But I mean, yeah, the Salt Wyvern decided, and no thank you, is rushing off to the inn there.
It really safe to go and see who the boss was.
Yeah. Now we saw that Eykir is actually doing very well with this Gold Dragon grind. The Gold Dragons are at least cooperating as well here, sending their attacks to party members that will take those hits.
Yep, and queuing up a double life, that is very helpful. That A single life glitch on these fight will go and take you up to 90,000 experience. A double life glitch will take you up to 120,000 experience before your double experience kicks in. So this is 240,000 experience per fight. The twins need 900,000 experience to go and learn their top tier spells. That is maybe one more fight after this.
Yeah, this is yeah, the twins need 900,000, but even if you can get those doubles on these gold dragons, if you are going to, you know, if you still have Iridia at this point, which Simeta does, it is definitely probably one of the best places to get her to nuke if you think you have the time to do so.
Yeah. Though eggs, if you can just one-shot eggs constantly, it's a pretty close match between them. But Eykir seems to go and have... They're going back to the save point. I didn't go and check their levels. And they are tenting up to go and be able to do that fight again.
Yep, just a quick bit of casting while Simeta is loading that Rosa up for absolute bear here.
Yeah, and Simeta does have Artemis arrows I almost forgot about. That is a very fast way of grinding eggs. If you have, it looks like that Rosa also has a heroin robe, Artemis arrows, Artemis bow. You're killing those eggs as soon as they spawn. If Rosa's getting just taking the first time, you're just popping through them like nothing.
Yep, it doesn't even look like that. It looks like she had mute arrows on. Might be gearing up for that Mega Sisters fight here.
Definitely commendable. It's just, it's so unfortunate that we know that the slots are on 7, and the next 2 are coming up 7-7 as well when you turn in that pan. But the more time Simeta spends not going and turning that in, the more time they're unfortunately giving to Eykir to do this grind, get themselves up to nuke levels, and yeah, the bow doing 1 point of damage is a bit of an issue, but still in good position here.
Yeah, Eykir is going to be at that point here extremely soon. Maybe this might be the last fight, might need one more here, depending on how it goes.
Only got 180,000 experience here, but that's still quite a bit of experience.
And Simeta is landing in front of Fabul and is about to get the good bad news.
Yeah, that is, you really don't like it when you've gone and completed one dungeon and walked into the Fame Arch and checked a boss fight, only to discover your Goma has been sitting here for a bit. And Eykir still needs one more fight, it seems, to go and get Nuke on the children. Nuke and White on the kids.
And to be fair, I'd want it anyway for a little bit, just for that smidge more of hit points on that Porum. While Porum does get a lot of magic evade rolls, and actually tanks magic pretty well. The low hit point count is still a concern.
Yeah, Porum can take big bangs more gracefully than Rosa potentially, but Cannon's potential will is 2200 will survive a big bang with Rosa almost guaranteed. Mac and Link pointing out that Eykir does have crystal rings. That is probably what's causing so much confidence, as crystal rings do give dragon resistance, allowing everyone to go and take half damage from dragon punches. The blitzes, however, are still going and doing work on people who do not have thunder resistance, who are taking 50% of their HP in damage every blitz.
And these gold dragons are fast.
But there is Wet on Porum, and there is Nuke on Palom. Eykir, I have a suspicion, is going to be content to head back and start their run to Zeromus, while Simeta has launched their big whale and is taking their run to Zeromus.
I have one unfortunate thing to point out right now.
They-
And Engine Debugger has Salt as well. That forge hasn't happened yet.
Simeta might be planning on doing eggs, so it's just coming up here to check the character and then going to head back to Earth. And if they want the character, they take him back to the Earth. If they don't want the character, they've already done the cutscene. It's out of the way.
Or is doing the key item math and wants to maybe try to fish a 10th key item off of the moon here.
I really hope they don't do that because you still want to forge first, I think.
You really do, yeah. Because then you just grind while you're up here, and Eykir doesn't really have much in the way of stat sticks for that Rosa left over here, but still better than actually holding on to and Simeta just bins that Rydia for Sid, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Might be taking Sid as an anchor.
Yeah, that's my take on it here.
But I do agree. If I was going to take a fresh anchor, I guess if you're doing eggs, Rydia is 3 more eggs, and if you have 2 people who cast white, 2 people who cast white and 2 people who cast nuke, you don't need a 3rd person to cast nuke for the cost of 3 extra eggs. Oh wait, Simeta banned Pornum as well. Still, 2 people casting nuke and 1 person casting white is plenty.
Yep. However, we do have some flags coming up here. Who makes all these flags anyway?
I do believe Scalakitty is the person we have to hold responsible for minting all of these flags that all of these lovely free enterprise fans love to wave.
And more importantly, where do I get one?
Well, I do believe Free Enterprise has some flags for you, but if you are waving the C flag, it's because you may have an inclination of what's coming. It's Zeromus, the final boss of Free Enterprise and Final Fantasy IV. And while in Final Fantasy IV, he is a somewhat hideous, basically from beyond the veil of space and reason. In Free Enterprise, we don't like moving him around, but we are randomizers, so we have to randomize something. So let's go and see what kind of lovely makeover our Scalakitty has given us today with one of the 526 different sprites.
And the question of butt kick, who's today?
Will he be cute? Yes or no? I'm hoping for yes because I have a special place in my heart for Trombone Miss that is an adorable sprite. And I'm really hoping we don't go and see a certain Dolphin's final boss because that thing is horrifying. Who are you hoping for?
Did come. I am always hoping for one I have seen out in the wild like a year and a half ago, and I have never seen her again because that pool is so huge. But one of my favorite Z sprites has still, to this day, been not that one. That's scary.
Why did I jinx it? Why did I jinx it? Listen.
That is not the Mana Goddess I was hoping for.
No, that's not. That's the final boss of Echo the Dolphin. It also gives me nightmares.
I can see why.
So my predictions have been Artemis Bows and the Z Spray, and yours have been the pan triple into Go Mode and the way to Zeromus.
I don't think I can top that one.
I don't think that's a real hard one to top.
So Simeta is going for eggs, has 9 key items, unfortunately. Does have a absolute pile of Siren.
It's gonna have enough to go and get Nuke on everyone. It's not gonna go for Nuke on everyone, actually. Looks to be okay. Is going to go and pick up the Palom. I am curious as to what their plan is. They're leveling the Sid, so.
I mean, Sid, I believe, Simeta does have a curse ring, I believe, with all that looting. I believe to go up Ordeals and grab that. So honestly, with a Dwarf Axe and a curse ring, you can pretty much just let Sid have all the levels you want to, because a a Dwarf Axe and a Curse Ring is a nice -20 and gets you pretty much to where you want to be.
Yeah, that's true. That is, Sid is not an exceptionally fast character, and he can use extra pieces of slowing equipment, where most people just have the Curse Ring. Dwarf Axe, -5 agility, Sid can use that. He struggles to get to 20 agility anyway, so that's a great weapon for him to take if you want him to be an anchor.
And even then, he still remains useful at that point, because he still has, like, all the HP in the world.
Yeah, it turns out Sid's quite tanky as well. He doesn't get speed, but what he lacks in speed, he makes up for in sheer girth and determination of shrugging off damage, because he will be at like 3,000 HP when this grind is over. Meanwhile, Eykir is going and pushing through this Roman fight. I believe we have seen a second shake, so we are getting close to a second Big Bang, but we're at the end of the fight, as there's the flash, there's the crumble. Eykir defeats the horrible terror from beyond whatever it is that Echo the Dolphin decided to go to, and is our winner with a first place time of 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 25 seconds. GG's to Eykir, and I believe we have just been joined by him in chat. Congratulations, Eykir.
Thank you. That was a rough one. It scared me.
The Z-Spray scared me, but I wasn't the one who actually had to win, so...
I actually started at that because I had never seen that one before. I was like, oh, that's a scary one.
I mean, admittedly, I was one of those few people. I never had a Sega. I was never able to actually play Echo the Dolphin. So I was thinking it was something out of Aliens, honestly.
That's where that's from. Okay, I had no clue. I didn't know what it was.
I only know because I've seen it before, and yeah, that's the only place I know it from, and it's horrifying every time you see it. But speaking of horrifying, 3 objective overworld. How are you feeling when you went into that hook route after doing the plague that did not give you anything except a spoon?
Well, having 3 objectives done before even going underground scares me because it's a jet seed. It feels like it's going to be a jet seed. And my race against you and I do last week, we kind of had a similar thing where it was very jetty. And I just didn't check Sheila 1, and that's what put me way behind. And this one's like, okay, 1 check, well, 2 checks because we need a way to get to Zeromus. But any 1 check could be our go mode. And it just happened that everything was behind that pan. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that pan. How did you feel doing Dwarf Castle, checking Feymarch, and then doing that Dwarf Castle check to only get a 1 key item out of all 5 of those checks?
The tower, I went there because, hey, 2 checks real quick, and it ended up being nothing, and that kind of freaked me out. So I'm like, okay, it's either going to be in Feymarch, which I tried to do the Wyvern without Star Veils. Oh, that was embarrassing. And then Dwarf Castle had the one. It's like, this has to lead to something, so I have to hope that I did it first. And doing it as late as I did, normally the first thing I do when I go underground after Feymarch is Dwarf Castle. So I kind of deviated from my normal route, but I've seen pan. It's like something has to be here, either the moon access or something.
Something indeed was there. How did you feel when you saw the adamant come from Sylph?
Like, okay, it's just 1 item in a way to get to Zeromus, and I bet Sheila has 1 of those. I did not expect her to have both. And watching the playback, Twin Harp was pretty scary too.
That scene definitely scares you in a lot of different ways. Do you have any Night, do you have any questions for Eykir?
Only if we needed any more Zeus Gauntlets for that team.
I really regretted selling all my Cecil gear in case there was one on the moon, and I realized that after I sold it all. But it was already set up perfectly for flex strats, so I held on to it way too long.
That sounds entirely fair. Well, congratulations to you, Eykir, on the first place finish, and good luck to you next week.
Thank you.
And unfortunately, Simeta has forfeited, as they did get the news that Eykir is finished, and then the crushing wipe as they were doing their grind finishing is not something that feels as priority when you're going back through that much. But we are joined by Simeta now. GG's on that race. I am sorry for how that ended for you.
Oh, all right. I messed that up pretty good myself.
But outside of the ending, how are you feeling getting into that hook route with three objectives complete already?
It's one of those things that you're like, I felt really far behind. I'm sitting there thinking like, oh God, what do I do? What do I do?
It is definitely a scary position to be in. What was your biggest fear going into that hook route? Was it a rude boss or was it an easy boss and you have put off the underground for a bit, giving your opponent time to check out and see if there's the last objective and the weight is Rome is waiting for them easily there?
Probably that right after that, there'd be a pass or something really simple for them just to zip right in because I'm horrible with low level stuff.
That's fair. I personally hate low level stress as well, so I try to avoid doing them. But other questions is, how are you feeling about the team just throughout the seed? This is it's not very common that you get the entirely mage next to no, honestly, we're gonna go and call it young the punch mage. So you have the all mage, no firm early melee fighters team. How do you feel going through that overworld?
I felt perfectly fine because Fufu really carried me. And then towards the end, I wanted to switch over to Zerg strats because I didn't think I could get enough experience on Radiant time to get a nuke.
That's definitely fair. We're discussing that it takes 1 million experience to get Rydia to nuke, and it takes 900,000 for Palom. That's an extra 3 eggs if you want to try and do those for 1 extra nuke caster when you already have Fasoya and Rosa throwing in some GPS, so that's definitely not a bad call.
I kind of regretted it after seeing that Rydia because I just sold all of her stuff right beforehand down the hook route, and I couldn't keep her.
Yeah, that Rydia Bahamut was a very nice find, though I don't think we get many opportunities to use it outside of that hook route, as it was just Dwarf Castle and then you were close to being done.
Yeah, early on it was like the twins, and then it was Fu, and then Rydia's Bahamut,
And then congratulations, you're at the end of the seed. Here's everything you need on Sheila.
yeah, I had a bad feeling about that. I was like,
It's always hard to go in. So many options open to you, and none of them are bad options. Going and checking the Freebian Fey March is not a bad option. Going and checking the tower for 2 key items is a bad option. But Sheila just lived up to her name and had the goods today. But outside of the underground leading into complete craziness, we're at the end of this seed. How are you feeling so far in the tournament? This has definitely been a very stressful seed.
I'm feeling good so far. 2 good races. A third, that was a close one with Night Dew, and just we keep coming, keep taking it as they come.
And you, Simeta?
I like just playing them and not thinking too much about the opponent, but this one was like the whole entire time I felt like someone was breathing down my neck, and it's like, maybe next time I get another Scholar Key, because I love those longer ones.
So do I. I completely agree with that sentiment.
Oh, come on. You gotta go. You haven't lived until you've had a sub 50 race. No, I agree. Those races are terrifying and stressful, and your heart pounds out of your chest every minute.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement. I love a 2-hour slog as opposed to a 45-minute, oh god, what's going on here?
Just sprint and go as fast as your fingers will let you. But either of our runners have any final thoughts before we let you go?
Technically, my team was 4 mages and an archer. That Artemis Bow Rosa was doing some heavy damage.
That it did. It definitely made up for your lack of early melee fighters, as that let you go and carry melee damage.
Actually, still handily took out Asura.
Yeah, those meteors also did good work. Well, then that is going to be it for us as, while Free Enterprise is ending, we do have another event coming up at 9 o'clock on this channel, just in a few minutes. It is the semifinals for the Dragon Warrior, for
The Final Fantasy randomizer, I believe here. Yeah, the winner DAB.
between Lord Fizzlebeef and Fryteeth, followed up by, at 11 p.m., Dragon Warrior Randomizer Winter League Group 11. So, lots more to go and see here tonight. And I'm sure RPG Limerick would be happy to have you. I'm sure both those communities would love to go and have you watch their tournament. So, if you're having fun, maybe stick around.
A quick shout outs to everybody on the Restream team, Restreamer, trackers, and commentators. Y'all did a great job.
And thank you for the race. It's quite enjoyable.